Welcome to the Selenium WebDriver training, day 10 by 5 Elements Learning. Today we are going to talk about how we could handle some advanced web elements like web table, drop-down element, and then we will be learning how we could use a command called as switch to for handling frames, alerts, which is basically pop-ups, and then we will be looking at how we can run our test scripts on Internet Explorer using a concept called as desired capabilities. But before we begin with the session for today, I would like to know if you guys have any questions from the last session. Lot to review, but you're good, no questions. Okay, sure, Harry. Fine. So you guys have sent me assignment solutions, some of you. So I'll review them and get back to you this weekend. Please continue working, okay? And if in case you are not yet able to practice Java object-oriented concepts, please do so before you start with Selenium. Okay, that's just one suggestion and a strong suggestion I would like to give you guys, because it's important that the concepts of object-oriented programming in Java are clear to you. So do that assignment, practice the problem solutions which we have done in the class, and then start with Selenium. Okay. So what is a web table? A web table is basically a HTML element which helps us in a representation of data in the form of rows and columns on the screen. And many a times it is used to present or display information in a effective manner. So, for example, if you have to pick data from a database which is already in the rows and column and you want to present, or sometimes you have got dynamic data. For example, if you are searching on a web, for example, or for a hotel or a holiday plan or a flight, you get lots of information and then you can traverse to the next page and next page. So on all each of these pages, there is data represented in the table format. So table is defined with the help of a tag called as table, and inside it you have got the tr tag and the td tag. The tr tag is for table row and the td tag is for table data. Now a table is also called as a container element. Okay, a container HTML element, which basically means it can contain further HTML elements. So that is what a container web element means. So table, start tag, end tag. Okay. Here you have got t body, which means table body is starting, t body ends. Then inside the t body you have got table row. Inside the table row you have got table data. The table data can contain further HTML elements. For example, it can contain a text box, it can contain a button, it can contain image, link, or simple text as well. So the above table contains two rows and two columns. Okay. So each row contains two columns. So this is how a web table is represented. In our application, in the very first page, we have got table available. So the products which are displayed to us are actually displayed using the table tag. So let's have a look at it. So let me launch Firebug to show you where the table tag is. Here. So this is the table tag available. It has got, as you could see, 3 table rows. Each table row further contains one table cell, second table cell, and the third. So as I scroll with the Firebug, that particular table cell is getting highlighted. Now if I can further expand, you could see that this particular table cell contains 2 links, one for the image, one for the name of the product, and the last is showing the price of this product in a text format. So there are 2 links for image and for the name of the product and the price. So there are 3 web elements inside this particular table cell. Correct? Can you all see this? So now the program which we are going to write down and look at it is will be iterating through this table web element and printing information for us on the screen. So please pay attention to the program. Let me know if you guys have any question. Understand that the table is actually a 2D array. If you look at from a Java perspective or from your programming lens, it's a 2D array which has got rows and columns. So it means to iterate the web table, we will be requiring 2 for loops, one for the rows and then for each column inside a row. Okay? So we declare our WebDriver. Let me just fetch the Gecko driver information. Then when we start with the test annotation, you launch the application and we create a web element called as web table by saying driver.findElement by.tagNameTable. Since there is only one table in the page, we could go about it And also there is no other property available with this table using which we can identify it. As you could see, neither it has got a name nor it has got an ID or any other property. So saying just table right now will be able to fetch with the element. Then we create the very first list for web element called as rows by saying web table dot find elements by dot xpath. Anything could be there before the star means that, remember from the regular expression, t body tr. So inside the table traverse to t body then tr to fetch all the rows, okay, all the tr tags. So what it will do is it will create a list of web elements to create the rows. How many tr tags are there? 3. So 3 elements will be created inside the rows. Then we have got the iteration starting. So we create a row index 1 and we say for web element, row element, rows. This is to be read as for every web element called as row element created inside the rows list, do this. Do what? Create a list of web element called as columns, okay, is equal to row element dot find elements by dot xpath td. So create a list called as columns which is created by fetching the td tag inside every row element. Remember each of them is a container element, so we can use find elements function inside them. This will return to us all the td tags inside every row tag. You print the number of columns you have read and create a column index. Then we start with iteration of the columns. So for every web element, column element inside columns list, print the row index, column index, and fetch the call element dot get text. Print the text associated with the call element. Increment the column index, increment the row index, and let it iterate. So it will iterate for every row, then in each row for all columns, and then we'll go to the next row. And so on and so forth until all rows and columns are iterated and the text is printed on the screen. So executing this program, so you could see that as the execution has ended, all the information which was inside the particular web table got printed. See this? Number of rows in the web table, columns, then information, name of the product, and the price is getting printed, which is the text associated with the table cell. Right? Clear to you guys? Any question? So just read the program once. Let me know if you have any questions. Any questions? Okay. So, in the next program, we are going to see how we could work with the table cell. So, in here, what we are going to do is, we are going to iterate through the web table, and while we are iterating, we will stop our iteration on the very first product and we will fetch its link text so that we can go ahead and click on this particular product using its link text. That is what this program is about, to help you understand that how you can work with an element inside a web table. So here So here, when we start with the creation of the web table, then we create a list of rows, okay? Then for every web element, row element inside the rows, we create a list of column element. And for every web element, column element inside the columns list, you fetch the text associated with the table cell. As you could see that the printing is like this: product name followed by a new line and the price. So the format for the table cell data is product name followed by new line followed by the price of the product. Okay, so this is the format used. So we fetch the text associated with it, and then we want to fetch the product name. So we split the information on new line and fetch the zeroth element, which would be the product name. Okay, then we print the product name. Then we click on this particular product by using its link text property, and we fetch the source of the page, which is the next page. Once the source is fetched, we go ahead and find out whether in this particular page, when we have fetched all the text converting into lowercase, we want to find out whether the product is available or not. Okay, so we want to verify whether the product link which we have clicked, that particular page has opened only, not some other page. We fetch the answer by saying that if index found is greater than or equal to 0, that means that the product is available. Else, product is not available on the link which got clicked. Some other page appeared and the test has failed. Okay. So we execute this program. So the link was clicked. Let's see if the product was identified on that link or not. And yes, the product was identified as well. Okay. So just read this program code snippet. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Why we converted to lowercase in the page source? Because we did not want the mismatch to happen because of case issues. Remember, Java is case sensitive. So let's say if the name of the product displayed on the web page, let's say the first letter capital, may not be the same as represented in the product page. So a mismatch will happen. So to avoid that, you can either convert every character to lowercase or to uppercase. Clear? Okay. Okay. So the next element of our interest is basically a drop-down list. So a drop-down list is represented with the help of a select tag in the HTML. Okay. And inside the select you have got these option tag available. So select, and inside it you have got these option tags available. So every option tag basically represents some information. For example, this is a list of colors. Okay. So this is a list of colors available. Now there are three properties associated with the list element. One is called the index, that is the position of the option element. Second is the visible text. So visible text is this, what is displayed on the web. And the third is the value, which is a property of the option tag. So these are the three properties associated with the list element. So for example, red is visible text, 1 is the value, and index is 0. Okay, so that is the information associated with the first drop down element. Now Since the type of actions performing on a drop down could be many, for example, find or list element, select an element, deselect an element, select more than one element, deselect more than one element. So it's a kind of a different element than the other web elements available to us. For that reasons, there is a separate class available to us called a select class in Selenium, which has available some methods which we are going to use for our program. So this is a separate class available to us in Selenium. Have a look at it. Try and read the information available and tell me what kind of methods do you see available for this class. So yeah, select by value, select by index, select by text. You can also see get options. You could see deselect by index, deselect all. So these are some of the methods available. Now let's say you click on a method, it will take you to what this method is described as, what does it returns. Okay, so henceforth if you have to read about some new Selenium class, okay, you can do so by going through this documentation for every class and their methods available to help you understand. And that's how we also find out. Okay, whenever we have to encounter a new class, you go by the documentation, you try to understand what kind of method it is, what is that it does, what kind of information does it returns back, etc., and what kind of exception, if occurs, will it throw. Okay, which is very helpful. So get into a habit of reading this documentation and making sense out of it. It is as well as important as we progress through our learning. Okay, so let's have a look at the drop down list. So do you remember where have you seen a drop down list in your program, in your application? Where have we seen a drop down list? So our drop down list is available to us in the registration page in the country. The country in here where you select in the registration scenario is a drop down list. Okay, so you could read it. It says select the name of the element is country. Then you have got these option tags. Option 1, value 1 Afghanistan, value 2 Albania, 3 Algeria, American Samoa, Andorra, Angola, Anguilla and Ratica. All these are the different names of the countries available to us. Okay. Each of them represented as the option tag. Now the total number of countries available in here, the list is 240. 239, but the total entries would be 240 because the first is please select. Okay, so we are going to write down the program and perform some actions on this list. Let's have a look. So first you perform some clicks to reach to the page. Then once you are available in here, you fetch the drop down element by creating an object of type select and saying new select, and for that you need to import this. Import org.openqa.selenium.support.ui.select. This is the class which is required to import. Also remember that if in case you are trying to write down a program and you have not imported the required class, the IDE will try to give you a suggestion by giving a red line in here. So you come here, it was telling you that you can go ahead and import select from different classes available inside the libraries associated with the project. So we have to import the one associated with the Selenium. So you click here, that particular class will get imported and the red line will go away. Okay, that's another way to understand how do you add the right class. You don't have to remember, so ID itself gives you suggestion. So you create the country drop down country element of type select by passing the name, property, value being country. Then you find out the number of options available to us by saying drop down country dot get options dot size. It will give you the number of options available. So dot size will return your value and you are asserting whether the value is equal to 240 or not. So total number of countries are 239 plus please select, you get 240. Then you say you want to select the country by visible text. So the name of the country selected you're passing out is India. And then you are saying assert equals get first selected option. And you fetch the text. Then you select by value, assert equal that whether it is Algeria or not. And then you select by index. So select by visible text, select by value and select by index are the three selections which can happen, and you know respectively from where these values are available. Visible text is what you see, by value is the property available with the option tag, and index is the position of the element inside the select list. Then you assert the information fetched. Then let's say you want to verify a particular value, whether it is available to us in the list or not, a particular name of a country. So what you do is you create an array list, and in that array list you fetch all the country names. So you iterate through every option element inside the list element and you create a list and you add its text. Then inside that list you find out whether it contains a particular country of your interest or not. If found, you say country is found. So executing this program, so you can see India gets selected. then Algeria, and then Afghanistan gets selected. Okay, as mentioned in the program. So these three different values got selected by choosing the respective property, and country was as well as found. Number of options were indeed 240. Okay, makes sense? Just read the program. Let me know if there is something which is not clear to you guys. Any questions? Okay, so we'll move on to the next concept, and that is of the usage of the switch to command. So switch to command is some command which is available to us with the WebDriver object. Okay. A command available to us with the WebDriver object, and allows us to switch the WebDriver focus to a alert, a new window, a frame object, and help and allow us to handle it. So we can do, once we have switched to that particular window, alert or frame, handle that object. So the first we are going to have a look at the alert. Alert is basically a JavaScript alert which is basically a JavaScript pop-up, okay, which can come, and then you have to press either the OK or the cancel button to perform an action so that the pop-up is removed. And until that pop-up is removed, you cannot perform any other action on that web page. So it is important to handle it. So to handle it, there is a class available to us called as alert class in Java, and these are the methods associated with this particular class. So you have got methods available as accept, finish, accept, send keys, get text, dismiss, set credentials, authenticate using. So these are some of the methods available. Accept is pressing the OK button. Dismiss is pressing the cancel button. Send keys, if in some situations it is asking you to type a text, or if you want to fetch the text associated with the pop-up window, you can do so by using get text. So these are the methods available to us in the alert class. Okay, so let's see first where the alert comes and how do we handle it. Now an alert would come when we are trying to fill the registration information, and in case you have not filled some information or not provided any mandatory details, and you press on the continue button, an alert would come up telling you what all is not available. And then until unless you press on the OK button, it will not move, and until unless it will disappear, you cannot go and perform any action on the web application. So I have to press on this OK button for the window to come back and fill in the rest of the details so that I can go ahead and create my user. So the scenario which we are taking is the registration, and the scenario is like this. Fill in the registration information and provide a wrong confirm password first time. Press continue button. Pop-up will appear. Handle it. Provide the second time. Correct password and confirm password information. Click continue and user will be registered. So this is the scenario which we are going to pick. Okay. So here we start with the program. You click on the my account link, and then you click on the continue button. Then you are filling the gender, first name, last name, DOB, email address. In the password, you first provide a confirm password and then a wrong password. Since you have provided a wrong password, an alert will be launched. When the alert is launched, you basically sleep for a little while and wait for alert to be available. So you create an object for alert. You say driver.switch to .alert. So what the switch to command will do is it will switch to the object you are asking it to switch to. The focus will be shifted to the alert object. So shift the focus to the alert object, and then you simply say alert.accept, which is similar to pressing on the OK button. And then you go back, provide the correct password and confirm password this time. Click on the continue button. You should ideally be able to see your account has been created message on the next page. And then you click on the log off button and the continue button to go back to the home page. Okay. So you could see alert has come up, also handled. You're back to the log off and continue button. Let me run this program one more time and give a little bit more weight for you guys to see the alert properly. So can you see the alert this time more properly? So it will click on the button, provide the correct password and confirm password, and go on to your continuation of account creation and logging off and getting back to the home page. Okay. So that's how the alerts are handled, which are basically our pop-up windows. Any questions? We need not find any web element for alert window. No. So you simply create an alert object and you say driver dot switch to the alert. Does it supports pop-up window? Yes, it supports. JavaScript window? Yes. So a window object is also supported. We will see that a little shortly. So right now we have seen alert, which is JavaScript alert. Similarly, you can switch to a window by using the switch to. So if you look at the switch to command, you could switch to an alert, you can switch to a frame, you can switch to a window. Okay. So you can switch to all these three different elements: alert, frame, and a window. It's possible to do it. So we'll take a short break right now, 5-10 minutes, and after the break, we will resume the session, talk about how we can handle a frame and a window object, and we will see how we can use the desired capabilities class to work with the Internet Explorer program. So go ahead, take a break, and we will resume the session in next 5-10 minutes. Thank you. Resuming the session, I hope you all are able to hear me and see the screen. Okay. So next we will have a look at how we could handle a window. To handle a window, this is what we will do is, you have a look at the web application Rediff, and whenever Rediff is opened, okay, you can see a window being popped up. Okay. As the window is popped up, you may want to close this window, go back to your page, click on the sign in button and provide some information. This is the scenario which we are going to handle. So let's have a look at it. So before we do that, understand this. Every window created in the web page has a window ID. Okay. It's a new window ID available to the window opening on the web page. So window ID is basically some numeric text which is unique to the browser. Okay. This window ID is unique to the browser element. So we are going to use something called as set in Java to handle it. A set is an array, but it contains only unique values. That's the property of a set. So it's a list or an array which will contain only unique values. So let's have a look at the program. In this program, you click as soon as you launch the web browser, at the same moment a pop-up window will appear, and you may want to click on a sign in button to go to the sign in page. But that pop-up window may hamper your work. So we create a set of type string, calling it as window ID, and we say driver dot get window handles. We were going to fetch all the window handles associated with this driver object, and we create a set for it. Okay. Then we create an iterator on that set. Okay. And we provide a main window ID and a new add window ID. Okay. So iterator, since only two windows will be opened, iterator.next will take us to the first window, iterator.next will take us to the second window. Okay. Then we say driver.switch to window and we give a new window ID. we print its title, close it, wait for some while, then we switch back to the main window, fetch its title and perform the sleep operation. And then we go back to working on our web application. Okay, so let's run this program. So you could see that the pop-up window got closed. You are on the sign-in page and we provided some information, type email address here on the username. Okay, let me introduce some weight so that it becomes, you are able to see it more properly. Right? Okay, any questions? Anything which is not clear? Okay, now let's have a look at how we can handle or work with frames. To show you frames, I'm going to open a web application which is supposed to be the worst web application possible. Okay, that's how they say it, because it has done all which should not be done in a program, in a web page. So let's open this web application because our application doesn't have frames available. So this is the world's worst website. It has this marquee tag, lots of music playing in the background, and it has got availability of these frames. You can see these frame windows. So let me launch Firebug to show you the frame elements available. So here are the frame objects. So you have got frame set which has a frame, and then another frame set which has got two frames. So the first frame name is banner and it has got its srcs top.htm. Then you have got second frame set which contains two frame objects, contents and main. Okay, and inside each of this frame you have got an HTML available. Fine. So we will write down a program to handle this frame. Okay, sorry, I forgot to show you this scenario. So where we want to click on an element available on this page. The problem is it is not available directly on the page, but it is available inside a frame within the page. Okay. So you want to click on this particular element. Let's say here's another example. Okay. And it will lead to you a page called as the monkey's paw. So you want to verify whether you are able to click on the element and you have been able to reach this page or not. So you open the application and you switch to a frame which is recognized by the name property main, and then you click on the link identified by the link text. Here's another example. You verify once you have clicked on it whether it has got the text, the monkey, or not. If it has found the text, your link is clicked. If not, your link is not clicked. Let's say you do not want to switch. Okay, we have not switched to the frame. Then what will happen? So if you have not switched to the frame and you are trying to just handle it directly, this is what will happen. So it is kind of waiting for the link to appear, but it will not because it is not on the page. It is inside a frame within the page. So until unless you switch to that particular page, you will not be able to work on it. So you will not be able to work on it. Okay. Now let's give the switch to command to allow it to switch to the frame and then run the program. Okay, I'll just see what the program is. Why is it throwing an error? Because it is. So correct it and we'll share it with you. Uh, so we'll talk about it. Maybe in the next class I'll show you working. But this is how the program works. Maybe some issue with the new Firefox Gecko driver thing. I'll have a look at it and let you know. Because right now it is not able to identify the frame and click on the element within the time I've given. So maybe some issue. Okay. So moving on to our last concept for today is the concept called as desired capabilities. Desired capability says that every browser object which is available to us has got some set of properties which allow us to handle the object. Okay, so every browser has some set of properties which allow us to handle the browser object and set the test environment. So at the browser level, if you want to perform some actions to set the test environment for every browser instance which opens up, you have to use the concept of the desired capabilities. Okay. For example, if you want to work with Internet Explorer, you have to use desired capabilities because from Internet Explorer 7 and above, due to the more security control developed by Windows, Selenium test, when they send a command to the IE, it is seen as a threat. Okay? So it doesn't recognize the Selenium command, it sees it as a threat and doesn't allow us to automate the browser as it sees Selenium commands as a threat. So for this to work, there is a setting in IE. I'll just show you guys. So whenever you launch an IE application in the IE, let's go to tools. In this internet options, security, here you have got this enable protected mode. Generally, for restricted sites and internet, enable protected mode is checked, whereas local intranet and trusted site it is not checked. If that is the case, the Selenium will not be able to automate the browser. So what we do is we say that we want to ignore the security domains by introducing flakiness. So basically we want to bypass the security domain. Now you cannot expect your tester to remember this setting every time it is trying to automate the run on a test environment. And because of this, the test can get failed. So the idea is to set it at the script level and make the scripts work. That's one point in the Internet Explorer. The second is that Internet Explorer for execution requires something called as an IE driver. So we will get hold of the IE driver from the Selenium download page. Based upon your version of operating system, get hold of the Selenium Internet Explorer driver server. So you will see it's a zip file. Once you extract its content, there will be availability of IE driver. So this is an IE driver server available. Just 1 second, guys. Availability of this IE driver. This exe has to execute while you are trying to execute your program. So let me just give it a name. The path has to be copied. And here in the program, some changes which we will be doing. So in the before, first of all, you have to have the Internet Explorer driver imported, the class and the class for desired capabilities. So these are the two changes at the import level. At the before annotation level, you have to give the correct path to where your driver server is available. And then you set the system property for WebDriver iDriver like we have been doing for Gecko driver, and you say that file get absolute path set the WebDriver iDriver server property. You create a desired capabilities object for Internet Explorer, and you set the capability by passing that introduce flakiness by ignoring security domain flag to be true. You pass this I capabilities in the new Internet Explorer driver object, and that's it. The rest of the programs looks exactly the same. So just in the before annotation, you will be making these changes. Okay. And also understand that wherever I am giving a thread.sleep, ideally you should be using WebDriver wait in here to make your scripts more dynamic. Okay. So these are the changes which we do. So you set the file path, you set the system property to WebDriver IE driver, then you create the desired capabilities object for Internet Explorer, and you set the path, you set the property of a variable that you want to ignore the security domain by passing flakiness, and you pass this I capabilities to your Internet Explorer object. Once you launch this program, it will launch the IE driver server, and it will start your Internet Explorer for execution. The rest of these steps are exactly the same. It's just that the initialization of the browser, how do you initialize it, will take some extra steps than in the Firefox browser. So your test will pass. Okay. Now have a look at the desired capabilities class. So this is the desired capabilities, lot of information available, the different types of keys and what kind of values it will be holding up. Okay. So you have got browser specific capabilities for Firefox, for Chrome, for IE WebDriver. Okay. So this is the desired capabilities class. So as an assignment problem, all you have to do is practice this desired capabilities and pick any scenario and try to run it in an Internet Explorer. Any scenario of your choice and automate it in Internet Explorer. That's the only assignment for today. Any questions? So is this all clear to you guys? Okay. So thanks a lot for your time today. I will see you all next week. Please take out time and do your assignments, and remember to first complete the Java object oriented one, refresh the concepts, and then start with Selenium. So I hope you all had a good week learning the concepts of Selenium. Next 2 weeks we will learn further concepts on Selenium. We will see grid, how do we work with databases in Java, and we will talk about Maven actions, how we can handle images with Selenium, how we can integrate tools like Sikuli, AutoIt, and then we will finally talk about frameworks. So next 2 weeks are important as well. Try to attend all classes. So thank you so much for your time. Take care. Bye everyone. Bye.